welcome to Lydia Lost the Plot. I can't believe I'm even saying that. This is the craziest, most impulsive decision I've probably made for about 2 days. However, I am here and I am here to be on Booktube and I'm really, really excited. I can't believe that it's finally got to the point where I've done it. I've spent so long sort of sat around thinking I should do one. I really want to do one. You know, there's so much I enjoy on Booktube, and I've constantly talked myself out of it. I haven't got enough time. I'm not going to be good enough. People don't want to hear what I want to say. And all of that is untrue. That's just the inner critic. So I am here and I'm stepping out and I'm excited. So I hope that you're going to join along with me and that we can build a community here. All I want really from this channel is for us to have some fun and talk about books. So I'm going to do the Booktube newbie tag, which loads of booktubers have done, and I love watching it because it really helps you to get to know someone. So the first question that they pose to you with this tag is, why did you start this channel? So I started this channel because I used to do a podcast called A Pair of Bookends. If you're into book podcasts, go and check that out because it's a great podcast. And my association with that came to an end. And I thought, right, okay, I still need an outlet, a creative outlet for my passion for books. I'm also a bookseller. So I kind of needed more people to speak to. And now that that outlet had gone, I thought, what can I do? And I love Booktube so much. And it's, you know, the people on Booktube are my companions. They are my friends. And so I really want to take a more active role in that. So here I am, starting from scratch. It's very scary, but it's also really exciting. So I'm hoping that you'll enjoy coming along with me. The second question that they ask is, what are some fun and unique things you can bring to Booktube? I don't know about fun or unique, but I know that I can have a laugh and we can have fun. And I think personally what I love watching in Booktube is the people that really are passionate about what they do, about the books they're reading, about the authors they love, and sometimes about the books they don't like. But I really, really invest in those Booktubers, and I'd love to be that person for someone else, someone that you can put on in the background while you do the washing up and listen to someone talk about a book, and hopefully, you never know, maybe get you to see a new author in a different light, or go and read a backlist title you've never reached before. So that's really what I think I'm hoping to bring anyway. I mean, it's for you to judge. Number 3. What are you most excited for about this new channel? So what I'm most excited for really is the community and the relationships that I'm hoping to build. I'm really hoping that we get to a point where we can have big discussions, where we can talk in the comments, where I'm getting a load of recommendations off you all. That's really what I'm in it for, is to build a place where, you know, a safe space where we can chat about books, have fun, and just be a bit nerdy. So that's what I'm hoping for. Number 4, why do you love reading? Well, I love reading first and foremost because it is the best form of escapism I've ever found. But I also love reading because I think it is the most exciting and fun thing you can do. Like, there is nothing better than walking into a bookshop, picking up a book, opening it, reading the first page and being like, this I've been transported to a different world. I've been moved. I've been brought to tears, or I'm bursting out laughing. Like, there is, other than, I would say personally, other than like theatre, there's nothing that gets that instant visceral reaction from you like reading does. And it's so personal to you and so subjective, that I really love that. I love that a book can be something for you, something very personal for you. So yeah, I think that's why I love reading, first and foremost. Number 5, what book series got you into reading? Okay, so of course I'm going to say Harry Potter. I mean, I'm 30, so I grew up with the books. And I absolutely adored them. But what I would say is the first kind of foray into anything beyond that world was Stephen King. Everyone that listened to the podcast will know that I'm a huge Stephen King fan, and so was my mum. And I inherited all of her books, all of her Stephen King books, and she had quite a vast collection. And I think the first book that I read was Night Shift, which is a collection of short stories, and one of the short stories is called The Bogeyman, and it is phenomenal. It's the best, personally, the best piece of fiction ever written. She's gone and said it on her first Booktube video, but yeah, it's phenomenal. So that was the first time I ever thought that, or realised that writing could be different, had a different aspect to it, could take you places, could scare you, could scare the living daylights out of you, and could be so gripping that you literally couldn't put it down. And so yeah, I think that was kind of the first book where I was like, oh, now I've read that, I want to read everything else. I want to start to read other things. So that's when I started to begin to branch out away from the Harry Potter series and started to branch out into books that were a little bit more contemporary. Some of them were a little bit more literary, and yeah, and it just developed from there. Question number 6. What questions would you ask your favourite booktubers? Okay, so I have a list as long as my arm of booktubers that I adore, but there are a few that I wanted to give a quick shout out to that have sort of inspired me to start this channel. First and foremost, it's Simon from @SavageReads. He is phenomenal at what he does. I've met him in a matching outfit. We both wore pink and looked like a pair of flamingos, and I loved it. And he has everything he puts out is fantastic, and I just really love having him on because he has great recommendations. He has a wonderful sense of humour, and also like he gets like he reads like the Women's Prize and the Stellar Prize, like he reads all these prizes, and I'm like, yes. So it's, as he would say, it's like catnip to me. So Simon, definitely. Then Ben at Ben Reads Good, he's fantastic. He always has really succinct and brilliant reviews. And if I'm ever umming and ahhing about a book, I'll just go to him and just check and see if he's reviewed it, because he no doubt will have read it and will be able to tell me whether or not it's worth the read. He's fantastic. And Greg from Supposedly Fun. I love that Greg is all about kind of pro LGBTQ plus reading. He is so well read, especially in terms of things like the Pulitzer Prize. So there's lots of like literary things that he reads that I love. I've been recently reading The Secret Lives of Church Ladies by Disha Filior, and he that is what he calls his beloved. Like, he loves that book, and that has come directly from Greg's recommendation. So yeah, so those are just 3, and I have millions. And I think I would probably ask them what are the negative sides, because I always feel like that helps prepare you for like what's to come. I realise that there's probably going to be some negative feedback. There always is with anything that you're starting with. There's always going to be teething problems. There's always going to be stuff that I'm going to learn as I go along. So I think I would probably ask them that, or ask them what their favourite book is, because that's my favourite question, and it always stumps people because people panic and forget everything they've ever written. Which I love. Okay, not that I like putting people on the spot, obviously not. I'm very nice. If you believe that, you'll believe anything. Question number 7 is what challenges do you think starting a Booktube channel will be hardest to overcome? So again, like my last point, definitely I think getting negative feedback will be hard for me. I'm an actor, so I'm kind of used to knockbacks and people giving me feedback, so it's not too bad. But I do think that you do have to have a bit of a thick skin sometimes, especially when you're putting something out that's your personal opinion. I think it's hard when someone says, well, I don't agree with that. But I'm sort of open to that as well. I think that, you know, Bookstagram and Booktube are places where we can have different opinions about books and yet still maybe agree on, I don't know, the narrative was good, or the plot's good, or, you know, I really enjoyed the characters. You know, there's always something where you can find common ground. So I think that would probably not be too negative. I also think that because I'm on my own for the first time, I did a podcast with somebody else, with Hannah, and so there was always someone else to fall back on if, you know, I needed help, if you know, you dry up on a question, if you get stuck. Whereas with this, it's very much like, it's just me and you. It's just us. So I've got to show up and I've got to do this, which, you know, a little bit scary because you are alone, but I'm excited. So question number 8 is, when did you start reading? So I started reading from a fetus. I definitely had some sort of reading material in the womb, because there's no way I didn't, because I came out like ready. I have always loved reading. I used to read anything I could get my hands on, and yeah, so I can't remember when I started reading. I remember when I started reading, I'd say reading and analysing and understanding text as opposed to just reading for fun, and that was probably when I was about 15, 16, and I started to think, oh, this is actually really well written, why is it well written, and things like that. And I started to get more into like the mechanics of writing. I suppose that would be when I started to properly read, if that makes any sense. But any reading's reading. I'm not snobby about it, let me tell you. And number 9 is, where do you read? Anywhere. Mostly now on my commute to work. I don't drive, so don't panic. I'm not driving and having a book in front of me. But I take public transport pretty much everywhere. And so whenever I'm on a bus, usually I'm reading. Luckily, I don't get that motion sick. So it's not too bad. I don't know what I'd be like maybe on like a really long bus journey. Don't know. But yeah, for my relatively short commute, it's about 40 minutes. I'll read in the morning, I'll read on the way home. So I get a good like over an hour sometimes maybe 2, depending on traffic, of reading a day just by doing it on my commute. So yeah, I read pretty much everywhere. I like to read in Bath. That's a nice place to read, although with how clumsy I am, I don't know how I've not soaked a book yet. Question number 10. What kind of books do you like to read? This is a tricky one. I like to read, I'm just going to get my brew. I can't do anything without a cup of tea. I like to read anything, literally anything. I know that everyone's like, oh really, do you? But I'd give anything a go. There are some genres that I find, some genre fiction, that I find a little bit more difficult to get along with. However, there are some gems, let me tell you, there are some gems. I think it comes from my job as well. I'm a bookseller. So I work in a bookstore and we have to read, well, I don't have to read, but we sort of, you know, you have to have a working knowledge of most books. So I know a lot of the big hitters from pretty much most genres, and so I have an idea about what works, what doesn't, what I like and what I don't like. I mainly read literary fiction, contemporary fiction, and a bit of horror, but I'm up for anything. I'm literally up for anything. I'm currently reading, I mean, you won't be surprised by this, but I'm currently reading a Stephen King novel. I'm reading Lucy's Story, and it's phenomenal. It's absolutely brilliant. I'm about, how far am I? I'm 430 pages in, would you believe? And it's so good. I mean, it's so gripping. At first it took me a minute to get used to it. There's a lot of kind of colloquialisms, and one of the characters sort of speaks like a child on occasion. It's a little bit irritating, but as I've got into it, that's kind of by the by, and it's just brilliant. It's just fantastic. So yeah, that's what I'm currently reading, but I'm up for anything. Don't steal that clip and then put that on some kind of weird website. I'm up for anything book related. Thank you. And the last question is, what does your book collection look like? Well, as you can see above my head and down here, there are piles. I do have a book trolley and I do have bookcases, but at the moment these are all my unread books, and they've got sort of out of hand, and I have no one to blame but myself. So yeah, it's a lot, but yeah, so there's piles everywhere all over my house, and yeah, you kind of have to navigate your way around the piles of books, but if I do get crushed by a pile of books and that is the way that I die, I'm pretty happy with that. So, you know, write that on my gravestone. But it's been lovely to sit here and chat to you and introduce myself. I hope that you will subscribe, and please comment down below your favourite booktuber so that I can reach more people and see more videos and get more inspiration, because I am so excited. And just thank you, and let's have fun losing the plot together.